West Coast Mountain Podcast. Oh, well, West Coast Podcast. I'm Shane Got You 11, and with me always is Trey.
What's going on, guys? This is Trey here. I'm with Shane Got You 11 on YouTube. This is another edition of the West Coast Madden podcast. Now, this is actually a special edition of the podcast because, A, we got Halloween coming up, which is a fantastic holiday. And, ever since we started this podcast, when we first started this podcast around 2020, we had our first Halloween podcast, but come back a year, we had a co-host that's not around anymore, and he shall remain nameless. But he was on there, and that episode was pretty classic. And hopefully, when you have a trademark of every podcast being released at a certain time period, it's gonna push you to go even harder. So that's what me and Shane are going to attempt to do to keep the tradition going. I have a couple things up my sleeve that we're going to get into here as far as, Halloween theme. I know Shane, he's probably not ready. I mean, I told him in the last podcast, he says that he's always ready. But I do not know if he's going to be ready for this. So, I guess with all that being said, with the introduction and all that, Shane, how have you been going? I know you've been ranting and raving about Madden and particularly one Adrian Peterson who sold the bag for you, and I know you're pretty upset about that. So I want to get your take on that. And what do you think about Halloween? And are you gonna be doing anything for this Halloween?
What's up, Trey? Yes. Okay, let's get into this. Okay, so Adrian Peterson did sell the bag on me in the MCS tournament. If I was a higher name, people would be all over talking about like I Shane got cheated, whoop de whoop. But here's where we're gonna like break it down and be honest. Like I am leading the game at halftime. I get the ball. If I win this game, I am basically gonna make the single limbs like I believe I should have, and I'm up 14-10. I'm driving down midfield. I'm like, okay, this is good. This is gonna be, this is gonna be a wrap. Well, Adrian Peterson gets stripped for six by the computer. Yeah, he fumbles. I'm like, okay. I get the ball back again. He gets stripped again for six. So back to back. I go down with Adrian Peterson again. He fumbles again. So not only fumble once, and not even user strips. It was three computer fumbles back to back to back. And then I had about four or five losses because I did not have gift wrap. Yep, I heard it from people. Like, I understand. But, like, for my old, but I can't believe you need gift wrap to be able to catch certain catches, which is wild to me. But it is what it is. And then for Halloween, yes, I am taking the kiddos out. I am gonna do Halloween that way. Other than that, on Halloween, I'll probably take the kids out, get some dinner, and then come back and chill. Halloween's cool though. Like I've gotten into it more and more as I've gotten older. I'm still not big into the scary movies, but I am into just having fun on the holiday now and all that good stuff. But yeah, that's basically what we're gonna do for Halloween. Gonna take the kids out, um, and then have some dinner. And yeah, Adrian Peterson definitely sold me, bro.
Yeah, it's funny. I was talking to you the other day about, scary movies and, what's your favorite, this and that. And for those of you who actually did not see that podcast, Shane's favorite scary movie, at least he told me, was Scream. So, I mean, that kind of gives you an idea of, like, I mean, I don't mess with scary movies myself, like, at all. But if someone's favorite movie is Scream, that kind of lets you know that that is not a genre that they frequently visit to. Scream, however, was a good movie. What's up? Okay, no. So Shane knows what I'm talking about,
Yes, I
right?
do. Yes, I do. Yeah, I do. I know what you mean.
Yeah. So let's get into this. So we had the most feared challenge. Now this one was particularly interesting to me. We had four people, and actually we had some newcomers on the scene, and I wanted to ask Shane if, well, I wanted to get his take on the entire event in general, but we had two newcomers into this. We had Abram, who I never heard of, and we also had TJ, who a lot of people are saying, he got cheated in the championship game against John Beast. And to Shane's point earlier about how he was talking about how, if you establish yourself as a top pro player, you have a legion of people who will make excuses. But to be fair, I've seen a lot of people, well, not a lot of people, but a significant amount of people say that, John Beast kind of got lucky in a game against TJ. So the two new people that I just brought up, Abram and TJ, are those people that you've heard of? Because I personally never heard of them before. And I guess what's your take on this most feared tournament?
I have heard of Abram, excuse me. He's pretty good. Like I know him from certain tournaments. I'd never heard of the TJ guy, but yeah, like TJ kind of got cheated like with the whole like I believe it was the onside kick. But like for me, um I feel like I figured out how to stop onside kicks. And for me, like, there's a certain way to go about it. So I'm not really like, I mean, it is what it is for me on that one. And yeah, it's pretty cool that it's pretty cool to have newcomers, if you know what I mean. Like, so like it was nice to see a couple new players and get the blood going. Rose, I can kind of see your comments. I don't know what's going on right now. Like, I can only read like half of it. It's like kind of broken down, so I'm trying to fix it while I'm talking to Trey. It looks like my comment section is acting up, but yeah, so I can see your comments, but partly right now, so I apologize for that.
Yeah, so, Shane and I aren't at the point yet where we have a Jamie from, I think that's what his name is, right, from the Joe Rogan podcast that does everything behind the scenes. Shane and I haven't been doing that. Shane has a Nightbot in his chat that's not even there half the time, so that kind of gives you an idea. So, so I mean, if there's anyone else that's you know listens to this podcast and you're pretty good with technology, give us a shout out on Twitter because Shane and I definitely struggle in that area. But so I mean, you were talking about onside kicks. So Kiv put out a tweet that got a lot of attention. I believe I showed you the screenshot of it.
Correct.
But he put out a tweet, and I guess he was playing ladders, and his opponent that he was playing recovered onside kick after onside kick. And what people were saying is that that onside kick should only be allowed to use in the fourth quarter. So what do you stand on that? You said that you know how to recover onside kicks. So is that going to be a future? I mean, I personally think you should probably hold on to that tip. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, give me like $10, I'll show you how to stop the onside kick because apparently a lot of people are struggling with that. So what do you think on that? Do you think that onside kick shouldn't be allowed to use only in the fourth quarter?
I mean, for me, it's like here. I'll say this, and see, this is my point. Real quick, try and answer Rose now. Yeah, I can see your statements for the most part. Like, yeah, doing my bank statements on live stream, you don't want to see my broke ass. And yeah, gift wrap is dumb. That's pretty bad. But yeah, so going on to answer about the question is so Rose just said it's a glitch to make the dude jump in the air and get hit midair. Well, I am not going to release how I do it, but yeah, I've had top players try it against me, so it's just not the bums. I'll use bums in quotation marks. You can't see my hands doing it, but I recover like 99% so far. Knock on wood. I mean, it's really not that hard. It's actually pretty simple if you do it the right way, and I'm being really honest. And for me, it's like, okay, so if the onside kick is a glitch, right? Let's just say the kick is a glitch and it shouldn't be allowed to use until the fourth quarter. Well, then your defense is a glitch because you run in dollar and pinching your dollar defense and crashing the line in, and then blitzing your two slot cornerbacks should not stop power runs. So then we're getting into the well, if that's a glitch, well, what you run is a glitch on defense. So then you should be able to run that, and then what you run on offense glitches out my zone. So you should be able to run that. My issue is in on the whole scenario is people complain when they can't stop something. And yeah, some of the stuff is dumb. Like gift wrapped is dumb to me. To need an ability to catch certain balls is dumb to me. That's not really like figuring out how to beat it or figuring out how to stop it. It's kind of like when you need an ability to catch the ball better. It's kind of like, it's not really skill based in trying to figure it out. Like, I understand there is certain glitches where they do patch it, so yes, but like for the onside kick, I'm telling you, like factually, I get the ball 99% of the time. I've recovered like probably like my last 20. Like I don't have a problem. I've returned it like 5 or 6 times, and it is against guys that are in the tournament, so it's not like it's just like I said, bums. So to me, it's like so a guy like Kiv who complained about zones in I think it was Madden 18 being too good, and he complained about it until it got patched to make it easier, tells people to adjust on certain things that he's great at, but now he's asking for the onside kick to be fixed. And I'm telling you, I know what kick they're doing. They're doing the high kick glitch. I've seen them post it, I've seen them talk about it, but there is a way to come across and get the ball before you get hit in midair. I'll leave it at that, Trey and Rose.
Alright, so that sounds like some very interesting information. Maybe if Shane releases, you know what I'm saying, an autobiography about his life, then at that point he'll tell you how he does it. But nah, but yeah, I mean it's pretty crazy. But the thing that was interesting to me about that whole situation was, Kiv is on Twitter. He's talking to the admin saying, hey, he's doing this. He's on site kicking me, and the admin told him basically it's like, hey, dude, can't do anything about it. It just is what it is. And like I tested you that, I just found that funny as hell because someone like Kiv, he's probably thinking that he can hit the admin up at any time and they're gonna listen to what he says because he's young Kiv. So either he got fired or Kiv is at the point now where he's kind of like the rest of us, that he kind of lost his favorability in terms of being able to complain and people at EA are going to listen to him. So do you think that that's the case with Kiv, or do you think he's probably the name is still popular enough to where he can get special treatment with that sort of thing? So.
Bro, like I'll be honest, I still think he gets treatment. I mean, because like there's certain guys who will be like, Oh, it's the Kivaroo, it's the Kiver, like that one guy does who commentates. I mean, so it's definitely making where he still has a name in the community where he can do all of that, where he can get away with it. Rose, let's see. Battlefy and EA is still associated with certain things. Yes, the administration does not care what the pros say as much, but they do listen and they do take in advance. I've talked to certain people, Rose, where the admins still listen to the pros more than a normal person, and they can hit up certain people in the EA community, or not the EA community, people that do Madden like before, and get to talk to people. But yes, and you are right. Certain administrators will not listen, or moderators will listen because they don't even know who the people are. So yes, on that part, I agree. But they do still have some ins, even though Battlefy and EA are not doing it one and one. But they do listen to the pros still, Rose. And also, I don't need pick artists to pick off the ball this year. So I mean, I didn't know that was the subject. The, here,
Shane,
yeah, go
oh,
ahead.
sorry to cut you
No, no,
off.
no, no. You're fine. I'm just answering what Rose is saying right now, which is fine. Uh, they want they they want people fired if they don't go for whatever they say though, Rose. Like, I mean, I've dealt with like a lot of these pros for a lot of years. It's why Kiev in 2018 or whatever it was, 2017 for Madden 18 went to Twitter, complained about it enough, people retweeted it enough, and then EA patched the game. It's why salary cap, besides what Joke did, became unlimited because more pros wanted it to become unlimited MUT. Don't don't get it twisted, Rose. I'm not saying that you're completely out there, but they are gonna listen to what pros are saying the on Twitter, and Madden is gonna notify people from Madden that give the pros the ins are gonna be able to talk to the Battlefy admins when they leave reviews. So yes, certain moderators won't know Kiv, but once the complaints hit Twitter and social media, EA will notify Battlefy.
Yeah, and that's pretty much what I was saying. You know, as far as the whole battle fight, I mean, there's a chance the admin that was talking to Kiv, he probably didn't know who Kiv was, but there is a reason why Kiv went on Twitter and complained about it. Is because, in my opinion, this might sound theorist, but he probably got butthurt that the admin wasn't like, oh, it's young Kiv, let's fix this. So he goes on Twitter and maybe he tells EA, it's like, hey, this is the admin that did this to me. I mean, is that so far fetched for him to do? I don't know, but it is obvious that EA does cater to the pros. You can talk to Shane about it, and me because I've been around for a lot of those conversations, and even some other pros have said the same thing. And that is what it is. I would like to see it to where EA can gather feedback from a larger amount of surfaces. You know what I'm saying? Like, it seems like they're gathering these people to tell them, hey, this is what you do good, this is what you do bad. They and they have the whole game changer program, which I know is kind of a crapshoot in and of itself. So I just wish that they would get more people that clearly aren't biased and like competitive players are gonna say, hey, I'm gonna we're gonna get together and make the game how we like to play. And I'm not hating on it because it's like at the end of the day it's good money. Like you're cutting out a lot of people when you do that sort of thing. Um so I guess Shane, what's your opinion on that? What do you think EA should go about as far as getting more people to look at games non-biased and etc.
I think what would be really cool, in my humble opinion, and yes, they did it before, and people complained that people were making multiple accounts and screwing up the leaderboards, and they were for sure, they were screwing it up. But I think to get more people able to play, maybe change the biased opinions of certain people. I think they should actually go back to the leaderboards they had before Battlefy, where you had like 2, 3 months to qualify. But instead of making it 2, 3 months to qualify, you have 1 month to qualify on the leaderboards, where you can load up PS5 or Xbox and go through head to head comp and try to qualify for a month straight. That gives every person who works and who doesn't work enough time to play, and then try to put in a code where the best records, like if I'm 42-10, but let's say this guy over there is 178, then you go off a win percentage. Like if you played enough games, like the 52 games should be enough to calculate, even compared to 100. And then you remove the people that played only 10, 11 games. Even if they're 10 or 11 and 0, they shouldn't be ahead. I mean, like I said, here I'll say this to sum it up. Battlefy cost me about 2 hours of playing because the moderators didn't know how to do certain things in the game I was in, such as one guy said he couldn't load up. So they're like, you have to turn off your PlayStation 5 and internet and reset the whole thing. I mean, that's ridiculous. Or, the other moderator told me that I needed to take screenshots to show the final score. I did, and it still took them 20 minutes to finally fix the score and everything because they were confused on how to do it. I mean, so I don't know like if fixing people so they're not biased will ever happen. But I do think to get more people, and yes, I think it hit like 22K, which is incredible. People who tried out. I think that you'd get even more if you did it where you just set up a leaderboard like it used to be back in the day and let people try to qualify for a month straight. I think that would be kind of cool, and like you wouldn't have to worry about the time and all that shit. Crap.
I mean, it's so ridiculous. I mean, to be honest, I don't know if I heard you correctly, but you were saying, you have basically 2 weeks for ladder play before single elimination started, and to me, it's like they're not even trying to hide it anymore. Like when you're having these events with all these ladders and you have people that can't even play the game for as long as they want before you can say, the tournament is this date. I mean, it's like at that point, all you can do is laugh and just say, yeah, you know, we just need more people to pay attention because that's just trash. Like there's no way like the average guy can play however many games you need to play on ladders for 2 weeks and be able to qualify. So, but I guess moving on from that, I wanted to touch on the state of Madden 24. So, my personal opinion on this whole thing is that it's way too ability dependent at this point. Not just with the gift wrap stuff we were talking about earlier. You need an ability to intercept the ball. Now Shane, I know Shane was talking earlier. He doesn't need pick artists. Pick artists need Shane, so he probably gets in that regard. But I mean, it's like they throw at zones all the time and they don't do anything, they don't react unless you have the zone ability, then they'll do a better job. So, I don't know. I'm at the point, excuse me, I'm at the point now where I'm just ready to scrap the entire ability system and just go back to regular ratings. Because, I mean, I was kind of defending abilities when they first came out, even when the whole joke thing where he won with the punter at quarterback. I think that's kind of what busted it wide open. So, Shane, I know you're probably not too happy about the state, given, whatever, but I know that you typically are unbiased even when things don't go well for you, but what do you think about the state of Madden 24 right now? Do you think it could get better?
So here is where I stand on everything. So I said way back when this ability thing became a thing that I thought it was horrible. Like I enjoyed Mutt Draft when they still allowed you to qualify and it wasn't so ability oriented. It was more like you turn it on, you draft your team, you play. And I think now that it's become almost an arcade in the sense of you need the zone for this, you need the zone for that. So for me, it's all like that. I just think I just think that they need to get away from it. Like I fully I fully agree on what you said, Trey, about how like I don't know, like they need to go back to maybe just having regular lineups without abilities in the sense of like maybe like where they had I think it was like Madden 16 where they had like three on each side. So you had three players with you know abilities on offense, three players on defense. Like let's say I'll just make it up: Sherman, Earl Thomas, and Cam Chancellor on the Seahawks defense. On offense, it was Russell Wilson, Doug Baldwin, and Marshawn Lynch. And then you just go from there. And if you don't like those abilities for those three players, then you use a different team and so on. I really think the abilities are making it a huge issue with the game, and I was anti-ability to begin with. I was called old. I was called not with it, and I still stand by. Did the abilities kind of ruin the game in Madden? Rose did bring up that guys like Civil and uh, other people, uh, Gut Fox and all other people had drop ball problems. I'm gonna be brutally honest with you, Rose, and I'm not trying to cause any ruckus with you, so don't take it the wrong way. A lot of these dudes do not switch up as quick as me. They might go farther than me, they might be better overall, but that's more because of the knowledge they have. That's more because of the people they hire out. A guy like Civil, he has like 10, 11, 12 minions that run and find certain plays for him, and then he posts it up on his website. He doesn't switch up as quick as me, so yeah, of course he's going to drop the ball late. I mean, he and other top players are the same guys who clicked off and relied on their computer tackling people in the past, where I relied on my own user. And yep, I'm not the best. I'm not the best player at all. And yep, they do go farther than me, but that's to me because of the knowledge where they can run this ability with this defensive setup. And I mean, that's that. Like if you watch my game, watch my games, watch my film, I rarely drop picks. Maybe once in a while, sure, once in a while, but that's real life. Like I mean, people are gonna drop the ball once in a while on in football games. Like if they make a bad read, yep, sometimes it sucks. Like I do have it like once in a while, but I really Rose, like I'm not trying to I don't take this the wrong way. Like I understand where you're coming from and I appreciate what you're saying. I'm just saying a lot of these guys don't really switch up that quick. I mean, very rare people. I mean, I think there's a few pros that switch up like super fast, and I'm like, damn, that user is really, really good. A lot of them get away with it because they have the top cards, they know the abilities, they hire people out to go look for plays and all of that, or not. And I understand where you're coming from. Like, I don't watch them really, and I mean, and yes, right. Bad player. You said Civil says bad players, and bad reads need to be punished. Fully agree. Bad reads need to be punished. They really do. Well, on the flip side, Rose, should fumbles be taken out then too? Because I literally lost a game where if I won, I would be playing tomorrow in single eliminations because my my running back fumbled 3 straight times by the computer, and I wasn't on aggressive. But these same guys would tell me like, "Oh well, that's how it happens. Fumbles suck, or don't run the ball so much." I mean, to me, it is what it is. Yeah, it sucks. Like I understand. Like drop bad reads do suck. If you get bad reads and you drop the ball, yeah, it sucks. Like trust me. I just try to like even when it does happen rarely for me, Rose, like I try to just brush it off and handling I guess more I just don't try to do the blame game. No, Rose, like no, we're trust me, we're seeing eye to eye on this sense of like where we're having a civil conversation, no pun intended. I just don't really try to blame. I don't know. I just like I shouldn't have gotten punished then, you know what I mean, for 3 fumbles in a row, or I shouldn't have lost. Is I shouldn't need gift wrap to catch a ball wide open, and then a guy comes and bumps into me in the end zone, and I drop it, even though it was already in my hands with a 91 overall. So to sum it up, Rose, and I'm sure you probably agree mostly with this, and I is what Trey said. They need to kind of scrap this whole ability is so OP, and they need to go back to where it's like the cards overall. Like as you look on my screen, I know Trey can't. DK Metcalf is 91 overall. He's one of the best wide receivers in the game. If he's wide open, he should catch the ball 9 out of 10 times because that's what he would do in real life. If this DK Metcalf was an 85 and he was not that good in the game, he should drop it more so than, the 91 overall card. But the abilities have gotten way out of hand, so that's where I'm at. I didn't like the abilities to begin with, and I do understand. I do agree with Civil where bad reads need to be punished, but like the fumbling, the drop passes, like where do we fix it?
Yeah, yeah, no, I get what you're saying with all that, and I mean, you've probably heard it in the commentary a thousand times. What does my man Brandon God, and I believe that's his name, if he had good hands, he'd be playing on offense. So you know, and it's like I understand that competitive should be a different kind of beast. So if you make a bad read and there's money on the line, you're trying to get rewards for Ultimate Team, which are trash now, but that's besides the point. You know, all that stuff from the stick skill to the adjustments, and yeah, there's probably gonna be some stuff that's quote unquote cheesy that's gonna be thrown in there, but that's what it is. I think Shane and I agree on a lot of things. One of the things that I know Shane has talked about, I don't want to misconstrue his words or whatever, but, we've been talking about having an adaptive AI to where, if you're running the same plays, the computer will. I think they even have that in the game to some degree, if I'm not mistaken. I've heard people talk about it, but anyway, so I mean, and they came out with the film study ability. They came out with the Omaha on offense, and that to me is something that I've never subscribed to. Like, I mean, I understand that there's glitches, but the problem is that when you get into someone who, if I know my opponent's going to be running cover two stock, and I have a real world football play that beats cover two, like the computer shouldn't adjust and say that, oh, he's running a play that beats cover two, and the CPU adjusts to it. But I understand what Shane's saying too about when you start getting into the top 1% of things, and you got all these glitches and RPO. I was shocked to see that. I was shocked to see that Shane was actually RPO glitching. That was something I'm like, oh shit, Shane. Oh my bad. Shane's actually pulling out all the stops here, so that was kind of different to see. But yeah, I mean the abilities thing. I guess going back to the original topic is I liked it because if you remember Madden 17, Madden 18, etc. Madden 20 was the first game where they introduced abilities, and we were seeing Michael Vick, we were seeing Steve Young, we were seeing all these mobile quarterbacks. So in the defensive abilities, they did make it to where you might want to have Joe Montana or Peyton Manning, whereas in the past you didn't even think about having Peyton Manning out there. I mean, if they have virtually the same stats throwing, it's like, yeah, I mean, I might as well just get the fast guy if everything else is the same. So, in that regard, but I'm at the point now where I just want to get rid of them. Just figure something else out. So, I guess Shane, your closing thoughts about Madden 24 before we get into the stuff that I've been thinking about all week, and I am very curious to see how it turns out. But at this point, what do you think needs to be done with Madden going forward? Go.
Okay, so Trey, I appreciate it. I'm gonna answer. Okay, so I'm gonna go back a little bit because I do have my phone open where I see what Rose is saying and I'm conversating. Like, I do enjoy the people that are in the chat talking about it. And then when Trey asks me a question, I can answer Trey and also answer the people in the audience. I do like how we talk back and forth to people like that, Trey and I. So, Rose, you said that Civil does not think it is like real chucking the ball up into double coverage. I do agree there. Bad reads like that, double coverage or triple coverage, it should be picked off or swatted away most of the time. So, fully agree on that. And he said rewarded for one on one plays. They shouldn't get rewarded for one on one plays. I mean, that is where I completely disagree with Civil because if I have DK Metcalf against a cornerback one on one, I am going to I'm going to throw it up to him and do a jump ball. I mean, Tom Brady did it with Gronkowski, Randy Moss, Aaron Rodgers did it with, his wide receivers. Russell Wilson did it with freaking Curse and Baldwin. I mean, so that is realism.
Get out of man coverage. Sorry, I just had to say
No,
that,
you're
but I agree
good.
with.
Yeah, and so like, and then to me it's like, okay, so here I'm gonna throw this out. Civil and his crew, which is fine. Like they do what they do, right? Okay, they do with what they do. They whatever they win games. But like, what is different than like, okay, Civil running the dollar defense or his crew running the dollar defense and them stopping power runs out of dollar defense? That is as fake as almost double coverage. And I'm being dead honest when I say that. Like, there's no way in real football. I've talked to multiple people who played college ball, where two defensive ends, a defensive tackle, and two small, fast cornerbacks would stop power formation. These guys played offensive line, one at West Virginia, and then one at a small community college. Um, basically, or not community college, excuse me, like double A football, double A college football. I asked them what would happen, and they said, well, in real football, against like an I form or even a tight single back with multiple tight ends on the field, is those little cornerbacks, they're getting bullied. They're getting bullied. Like, I mean, they are getting bullied off the field. You're getting big gains, and once in a while, yep, the defensive end or the defensive tackle might slip inside and make the tackle, but 75% of the time you're getting huge gains. So for me it's like where do you stand on that? You know what I mean? Like if you don't want this being fake, why are you okay with that being fake? Well, for me it's because that being fake where you're okay with is because you are good at. You see what I'm saying? Like if I'm awesome at running the football and I think it's real football, but I think it's fake when you stop me at a dollar, but when somebody passes the ball against me and I'm in dollar and I'm picking it all off and I say, "Oh, that's more real," it's usually because and I might not even made sense there, but it's usually because whatever fake you're good at, it's cool. Whatever fake you suck at, you're bad at, such as like Kiv with zone coverage in Madden 18. But when he was good at something else, he told people adjust, adjust, ADJUSS. Didn't even say adjust. The whole Madden community would be like adjust. And to me, it's like that's why. Like, there's no way. Like, I'm just being honest. There's no way that somebody should be in dollar, pinch a line, crash down, base a line, should stop power formations. And if I run to the outside with my big hog molly that John Madden used to say, rest in peace to the guy, that left guard pulling is going to smoke that little slot cornerback. And most DBs are running backwards because they don't want to get hit by that 350-pound guy. So, what is fair then? You see what I'm saying? Like, if that is fake too. But the reason you're okay with that fakeness is because you're winning ball games from it. And don't get it twisted. People know the truth, they just don't want to accept the truth. They want to say, no, well, it is real because the slot cornerbacks are blitzing and they're too fast for the linemen. Probably not. Okay. And if you got a little small Darrelle Revis going against Marshawn Lynch in the open field, Marshawn Lynch is probably going to truck him. And if I put my huge offensive line against smaller DBs, the smaller DBs are going to get smoked out, and the three down linemen are going to get smoked out. And it's just what it is. Like to me, it's like it is what it is. Me, the fakeness is going to be the fakeness, and the fakeness is going to be good for you, but not good for me, and maybe good for me, but not good for you. And then that's where people want the game fixed. You see what I'm saying? So that's where I'm at on the whole situation on that. Like for me, I think to fix Madden 24 to fix Madden 24 and maybe go on from that. I feel the abilities need to be like almost removed. I'm being honest, and people are gonna be like, Shane, you're crazy, but I think they need to figure out how to kind of remove abilities where abilities make the game. That's where I'm at. And I'm also at where like I think it's dumb three down linemen are able to stop um, power formations. That's another thing that they need to fix. And also, Trey, I remember your comment about me spamming RPOs. I spam my own RPOs. I'm not in single back. I have my own RPOs that I figured out. But yes, they are a little sexy. I'm going to be honest. They're sexy RPOs that I got. Anyways, that's where I stand. So I appreciate it, Rose, and I appreciate you, Trey. Good conversation about Madden 24.
Yeah, no, for sure. It was definitely a good conversation. And feel free if I'm ever, asking questions and you see Rose or anyone else come in the chat, always be sure to, answer them. If I'm just a person that talks in the background, I'm cool with that. But yeah, no, I agree 100%. Like, I think that whole section that where you were just talking is like straight facts. Like, it's like 100% real because, yeah, if all of a sudden they make it to where you can run the ball against dollar and dime, you're gonna see a lot of people come out of the woodworks saying that the run is trash, this and that. But I just think, and something, I'm not even gonna blame EA for how this ability stuff kind of manufactured, because I think I kind of respect it in a way because they were taking a risk. They were bringing something new and fresh to the game. They wanted to try something, and I think at this point we can honestly say that it didn't work out. Some years were probably better than others, and yeah, they could probably figure out a way to make it to where it doesn't really mean as much, but I just think it's time for them to go, if I'm being honest. So I guess with all that being said, when I was tasked with trying to figure out something to do for this Halloween podcast, trying to have something up my sleeve, Shane, I kind of realized something about me. I'm just way too ahead of my time when it comes to certain stuff. So, my idea initially was to have like a simulator where I can put you or in a situation online, and depending on whatever you choose, it's gonna lead the story one way or another, and there's just nothing like that. So, because I'm so ahead of my time, I had to improvise a little bit. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make up a situation that may or may not be taken from a TV show that was in the UK at one point, and then they went back to the US and they had one season. And I wanted to see what you would do if hypothetically you were put in that situation. So, this is how the situation starts. You get a phone call from someone. You get a phone call from someone who you've known before you went to school together. After you guys went to school together, you kind of went your separate ways. Um, so you get a call from him, and he says, "Hey Shane, I'm living overseas. I just bought this new mansion. I got really lucky with the real estate deal, and I want to bring you out to the mansion. And I'm also going to bring 2 or 3 friends that you haven't seen in a while." So, if that were hypothetically to happen to you? How would you feel? Would you go on the trip? And how sketched are you at this point if this were to happen? If
Okay, I love that you're doing this, bro. I love like these hypotheticals. I really do. Okay, well, honestly, I'm not gonna leave my family, so I wouldn't go. But do I have a family, like, or am I single?
Right. So I guess for this situation, let's just assume, and I know that you're not really an adventurous type. I'm not trying to throw shade at you, but let's just assume that you're just like young and wild kind of thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, or maybe let's do this. Like, let's say that you do have kids, but they're at the age now to where they can kind of look after themselves, and you kind of feel like you've gone into like a midlife to where you kind of are sensing that this might be the last opportunity to where you can really go out and explore something.
Okay, let's make it this way, bro, because I'm being dead honest here, bro. I couldn't leave my kids or my wife. So let's just say I'm single. Let's do that hypothetical. So I'm single like when I was like 16, right? So let's use my 16-year-old self. Is that fair? Can we do that?
Yeah, we can do that. We can do that. We can just say for the scenario because obviously at 16 you're not really gonna have friends that go off and I mean if you were 16 and you had like an older friend that was retired and was living overseas like what the situation I mean there's probably a problem there is you probably shouldn't be hanging out with
Yeah, I mean
people
that's true.
who are that older so
Okay,
yeah
I'm just okay. I'm not 16. I'm just single. I'm just
yeah
single, but my
yeah
mentality was like when I was 16. Because like when I was
yeah
16, I
yeah
was doing
yeah
stuff. Okay,
exactly
okay, let's do that.
yeah
Okay, so I am 30 years old. Let me put my mindset into it and make it better. I'm 30 years old, and kind of how I was when I'm 16. And a friend calls that I was cool with through high school. Yeah, I'm going. I am going. I'm a little like I probably know myself. I'm like, who's the other three friends? So I probably want to find out who the other three friends are, Trey. But yes, I am down to go.
all right so you are down to go so you end up going overseas. It's kind of in between. It's not a third world. It's not like you know I don't want to come across as like politically incorrect or whatever, but it's I don't know I don't even know how to, it's not a third world country, but it's something similar. You know what I mean. But
Yes.
it's like a step up, and I mean that's why rich people have houses over there. I mean let's just call it how it is, but. So you get over there, you meet up with the three friends, and one of the friends, where when you all meet up with each other at the airport, one of the friends has a picture that was taken the last time that all of you were hanging out together, and your friend, and then the friend asked the other people, including you, oh well, what did you get him for his retirement or whatever? And you come to the realization that you didn't get him anything. So at that point, you're in the limo. He booked you guys a limo. He flew you out there. Do you feel a sense of I have to stop by a store real quick and get something for him, or are you just like not even thinking about it at that point?
You know, I always make sure I bring gifts. So I, with this scenario, I am bull crapping my way, and I'm waiting to go where we're going. Like if we go to a dinner or something, I'm buying the whole dinner for everyone, and then I'm bringing shots out. Even though I don't drink that much, I'm bringing shots out and making it like I had it planned. And if I can't, yeah, I'm gonna be like, yo, I need to go in here really quick, and then I'm gonna bull crap and say I forgot to get you a card, but then I'm probably dropping a bunch of money in the card to make it look real good.
All right, so you're saying that you would go through the effort, but not very much. So lucky for you, that doesn't really impact the story that much because you pull up to his mansion. He's happy to see you. You all, he shows you around the place. You all get situated. You go outside. You have a few drinks, and you get ready to go out, experience a little bit of the nightlife. Now, there is one situation where I'm going to bring up, and I like assuming the story goes nowhere, like because I'm not telling you where the story goes yet, but assuming that you don't know where it's going, which you don't, but assuming this doesn't have a tragic ending is what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
So you're out, and your friend, the one that is retiring young, he gets approached by an older guy, and he says, "Hey, I haven't talked to you in a while." And he says, "Yeah, I left something at your doorstep a while back." And he tells them, kind of annoyed, but also kind of he doesn't want to set off any alarms, kind of thing. He says, "Well, don't because I'm retired." And the other guy walks by saying, "I'll talk to you later." And at that point, he just plays it off, saying, "Oh, he's just a friend, whatever." But when you see this, and the fact that he just retired so early, is that a situation where your red flags would be thrown up, or are you just kind of going with it?
So I would be like, I would, I would think like he did something shady, but I'd mind my own damn business right there, bro. So that's where I'd be.
Alrighty, so you spend the rest of the night, you go to a party, everything goes according to plan. You all get back, and you're 30 at this time, so you're saying, oh man, I haven't done that in so long. Like, and you're like, yeah, we can tell, kind of thing. So all that happens, and your friend, some more sketchy stuff happens. He gets a call in the middle of the night, even though he's supposedly to be retired, and another friend says, who's calling you at this time of night? And you say, oh, it's just business. But so that was strange, and the three of you are gathered around saying, yeah, that's kind of strange, whatever. But no one really pays it any mind because you're all so tired and whatever. So you wake up the next day, and one of you notices that in his pool there's an actual goat that is been placed in the pool, and obviously you're wondering how it got there, and your rich friend tells you, hey, you need to go figure out a place to where you can bury it. What is your reaction at that point? What?
I am Yo, I am tripping the hell out right now. Like, I'd be like, why do you want me to do this? And like, what's going on now? Now I'm needling a little bit, but I probably would go bury the goat somewhere for him.
Alright. So you end up doing that, and eventually, he comes around. He says, hey, I have this boat, and I want to take you guys out to go on the boat. And so you guys leave, and you're having a little bit of at this point you're having a little bit of disagreements here and there, like nothing serious, but just kind of little. It kind of seems off. So you go on the boat, and one of your friends says, "Hey, so how did you get this boat? Are you good friends with some guy or what?" But he ends up disclosing to you that he actually does not own this boat, that he basically stole it in retaliation for the fact that someone else put a goat in his pool. And he tries to play it off saying that this is how it works. If someone pushes you, you gotta push back. So obviously, in that situation, you're going to be tripping out. So, so that all happens, and you're all came to the conclusion. You're like, I want to get out of here. Like, I don't know what you're going on, but when you're tripped out like this and you're overseas, you're at a place you've never been to before. I want to ask you because I know you're a loyal dude and I know you're going to be honest, but do you think that you kind of look at this situation as, well, he's retiring, he probably wants someone there, he wants, I know I haven't talked to him in a while, but do you feel a sense of you need to help him out in whatever he's got going on at this point? Or are you kind of more thinking like, I just want to be done with it?
If if I haven't talked to him for a while, and he's been cool with me. Like, I'd probably been like, "Yo, what's going on? Like, can we rectify the situation?" Like, yeah, I'm probably trying to help him out a little bit right now.
Alright, so you're saying you try to help him out.
Yes.
So that's Shane being loyal. We're going to see how it plays out for him going forward. So, you know, now we're at the point to where it kind of, I mean, there's no fights like physical fights or whatever, but you've all came to the conclusion that you kind of want to go home, and he says, "Yeah, that's fine. I just want to invite you guys to have a dinner, and I want to explain to you guys why I've been acting this way, what's going on. So, and then after that, I'll call someone to come pick you up and take you to the airport. So, you're having this dinner, tensions are at an all-time high, and then you see someone walk up. He's wearing a mask, and he asks the guy, he's like, "Hey, where's this boat?" And he says, "I don't know what you're talking about." And the guy in the mask ends up shooting him right in front of all you guys. And the guy that shots is telling you, "Don't bother with the police because we are the police." And you guys have 48 hours to get the boat that this guy stole and return it, or else he's going to come back and do that. And then he walks off. So at that point, there's going to be a lot of scenarios that you could get, you could go because do you believe him because you don't see him leave, but do you think that he could be a cop? And do you think that if you were to go home that he would end up tracking you down? Like at that situation, what would you do?
I would believe that he's like the cartel. And I would probably look the first 24 hours for the boat, and if I didn't find it, I'd dip out.
Okay, but you're saying at that point, right? Like
Right.
at that point you would try to get the boat back at least.
Correct.
Correct, okay. So now at this point you're trying to clean up in case someone else comes over. You're trying to do a little bit of cleaning, trying to get the evidence all lined up. So then and fast forward to this morning. You guys have had a rough night. You're all just trying to get yourself together, but then you get another visitor. This time it's a woman, and he tells you guys that he wants to know where the friend that just got shot. So you just tell him that he's showing a property somewhere else and that he would be back a day after tomorrow. And she says that she is part of the police, and she tells you that the boat that ends up getting stolen belongs to someone who is very dangerous, to where if someone crosses him, like it gets bad, he like cuts off body parts and whatever. So she ends up leaving. Now, at that point, what are you thinking? Do you think that she's a cop, or do you think that she's maybe working for the person who stole the boat?
I don't believe that she's working for the person that stole the boat. I think they're all shady, and I'm looking for a way to get out.
All right, so at this point, you're still going forward. So you guys so you kind of know already that this boat is probably not going to be anything good. So you end up going to the boat, and when you start to figure out how to get it moved, then another problem comes up. So these people come up on a boat and they tell you, "Hey, this wasn't the meeting location." And you guys are like confused, you don't know, but the guy comes on, he unscrews a compartment in the boat, and to your surprise, it has drugs in there. And one of your friends tells you, like, "We work for the guy that supposedly set this whole thing up, and if you got a problem with the way we do it, you can talk to him." So he kind of buys you out of that whole situation. So you guys get the deal. He hands you over a bag of money. So when you guys get all collected, you see that you have this big lump sum of money. Now at this point, or is there a point where you're thinking, "Well, shit, I've been in this situation and I have this money to where if I wanted to, I can go somewhere and reset." So are you thinking about doing something with the money, or are you thinking, "I want to get this back. I don't want anything to do with this money"?
I'm keeping the money, bro.
All right, so there you have it. Shane has decided he's saying screw the other guys that I'm with. He's taking the money and he's deciding to run. So, so the TV show that I was just describing is called Mad Dogs. If you guys want to check it out, it first started in the UK. They did a few seasons there, and then they went one in America. And I really like that show, and it's something that, you know what I'm saying, like not a lot of people have seen. So I thought that would be kind of fun. Spoiler alert: what ends up happening is that they actually do not keep the money. They try to return the boat, make a lot of poor decisions along the way, and they end up getting killed for it. So that's it. But so yeah, so I mean that's kind of the something that I had up in my sleeve for this, and I just really wish that there was something else that I could do. I mean, I hope that that was serviceable, but yeah. So I guess Shane, what was your thoughts on that? And has there ever been like what was probably, I guess let's just go for this, like what would you say is like the sketchiest situation that you've been in, like in your life that was kind of not really similar to that, but I guess just in general. Yeah.
Okay, so I really like that trade. That was dope. I really like that. I'm assuming I stole the money and I lived amazingly and be like, I would be like, hell yeah, dude. Hopefully I'm alive and rich. I mean,
Well, you
that's
know
the
what? Yeah, not to cut you off, but you know what's funny is that in the TV show they at first, when they first got the money, they didn't do anything. Now, later on, when all these other events started happening, they end up getting. That's when they decide they want to get the money. But, they get themselves back into a situation, and then they finally are in a position to where they're going to be able to meet the guy that set this whole thing up together. And so at that point, they don't have all the money. So if they if they would have done what you did at first, and where they don't even know what's going on, then there's probably a good possibility that you could just move and then no one would know the difference. I mean, I'm the type of situation I probably would have just went and just took my chances. Like, if they can track me down in the U.S., I'd feel a whole lot better than taking my chances out here where I don't know anything. But that's just me. So, but yeah, go ahead. Or what was your question? I forget.
Oh no, no, I said I would have been alive, right? I would have had the money. I would have left with the money and been good, right?
Yeah. So you survived this scenario. I'll try to come up
Yeah.
with more scenarios. Yeah,
Good. Bring
yeah.
it to me, bro. Bring it to me in the next podcast. Do a Thanksgiving one. Wait, would it be a Thanksgiving one next time? No, it'd be the second one. Whatever. Do a Thanksgiving one where we'll figure it out. Something like that. I like it. Sketchiest moments I've ever. Well, I can't. I can't say. Okay, I can't use the sketchiest one, bro, on here. Hell no. Nope. 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 Mm-mm. So I will use the second sketchiest one that I've ever been in, or at least one that I can remember, is I was driving with my friend down in a little kind of shady part of Spokane, and the car broke down, and we had to get out, and it was a female friend, and I had to push the car with her help. She's a bigger girl. Push the car into this area by this mechanic shop, but it's on like kind of like a little poor neighborhood. Well, I look around, bro, and I see like three or four people starting to come from the houses, which were like kind of pushed back, and they were kind of like gangstered up. Um, some white dudes. They were kind of gangstered up white dudes, and they had like I think one guy was drinking like a 40, and he comes up and he's like, "What's going on here?" like you in some trouble. Well, I was probably in my mid 20s then. I kind of got the spidey sense, like what the f is going on here, and I'm like looking around. Well, my friend, she's kind of been drinking, and she's like, "What the f is your problem? Mind your business. Go back home." And I'm like, "Oh hell no!" And I think honestly, I'm gonna be honest. I think the guy thought that she was a guy. I'm not entirely sure, or he just didn't care that she was a female. I mean, she looks like a woman to me, but I'm saying. So, anyways, I mean, she looks like a woman, but so that's dumb. Anyways, so he was like, "What?" And like, I look up and bro, and there's like four more people, and so all of a sudden, there's like seven men from like 22 to probably 28, like looking like they're up to no good, like surrounding us. Well, my friend is arguing with the one dude, like I would say probably the leader, the dude who's drinking the 40, and all of a sudden I'm like, and okay, and I got a kid and a wife at home, but like I said, like my loyalty was kind of like, oh okay, if we go down, I'm gonna go down as a buster. Like I'm being honest, like I was being like I don't want to be in these kind of scenarios, but I was like, I'm not gonna go down like a buster. So I'm like, bro, I don't know who you're talking to like that. You better not talk to her like that. Like, you need to check yourself. And he was like, oh well, blah blah. And it was weird because of the situation. Like, I'm like, we're outnumbered by 10-2 roughly, and 10-1 in male to male. You know what I mean? Ratio. But like I kind of clowned his ass, and I was cracking on him, and then my female friends started cracking on him, and people were laughing like, "Oh man, they good," and like they kind of joked with us and left. But like I think they were really, really trying to see where our if we had any nuts, like if I had any nuts, and I'm not talking about the male nuts. I'm talking about like did I have nuts to back up? Like did I, you know what I mean? Not like physically, but mentally. That was a little sketchy there, Trey.
Yeah, no, I completely understand what you're saying. I mean, there's a possibility that maybe he thought, well, I mean, you said that you're in your 20s at that point, so you're kind of a young dude, but maybe he kind of thought that you were a cop or something, and that's why he was acting the way that he did. Um, but it's funny that you mentioned that because I've actually heard that like, if you find yourself kind of in that kind of situation to where they'll kind of test you in a way to kind of see where you're at, and if you kind of rub off on them the wrong way and you're not really feeling what they're putting down kind of thing, that it's kind of like God help you. So do you think that that's kind of what it is, or am I kind of tripping on that?
I honestly think they came to like see if they could punk us out. That's where I felt like I thought, or maybe I don't know, maybe like I don't know because I think if my friend wouldn't have said anything, they would have just talked and left. But then I think they got kind of annoyed at her and wanted to talk shit back, crap back, pardon me. And then it was starting to get a little hostile, and I started making jokes on him, and he took it kind of well, and people started laughing, and then they all laughed. But like it was a little sketchy for a couple minutes. I'm not gonna lie. It was a little I was trying to figure out like where the scenario was going. Like I was playing it in my head, but I knew that like if it went down, it went down. It's kind of like, I mean, kind of like when the guy we're at the Onion downtown Spokane, and my brother and I were bickering a little bit with each other, right? And these people were kind of staring at us, and my brother and the guy got in an argument. My brother stood up, and the guy stood up, and I'm like, I ain't helping my brother because I was pissed off at the moment. Well, then I saw another guy get up, and I'm like, oh hell no! And so I leaped over the booth of the Onion, shoved my brother out of the way, got in the guy's face. He backed off from me, and then people like grouped up around me and were grabbing at me to try to calm me down. I was like spinning on them all, and like they're kind of like sketched out by me, but like I just feel like it's gonna sound really dumb, you guys, like really, really dumb, but like I'm gonna defend my family and friends, even if they're in the wrong. Even if they're in the wrong, I'll tell them later, like, yo, you in the wrong, but like I'm gonna have your back, even if I get my ass kicked. So yes, like maybe I'm dumb.
Yeah, no, I think it's that way with a lot of people. I kind of feel the same way. Like, yeah, you might be wrong, but if like if I'm with you, I'm with you. So, at that point, if I feel like I need to protect you, then that's what I'm gonna do. There's certain. Every rule has an exception, right? So, like, if they do something that's completely messed up, then yeah, there's a place and time for that. But it is interesting that what you were saying about the whole drinking thing because people always say like don't drink and drive, but you could say in that scenario that drinking kind of helped you because as you know, when you start to drink, you start to say things that you start to be more confident to where some of the stuff that you wouldn't say that all of a sudden you start to say. So I think that's part's kind of interesting. Like, there's a chance that if she wasn't drinking, that it could have went very different.
Correct.
Yeah, for sure. So, real quick, I wanted to ask you. So, you know, we talk about Madden, and I'm kind of curious to know your answer. This is kind of off topic of everything, but that's just kind of how I am. I move and go in other directions. You think I'm going this way, but I'm actually going this way. So that's how I like to get down sometimes. But so, you know, you don't have to name any names, but wanted to ask you like has there ever been like a person in the Madden community where if you saw them at a live tournament that you would confront them and things would have gotten physical, and if maybe you don't feel that way now, but at the time, did you ever feel like that at one point or another? Like you don't got
Trey, bro. Yes, I kind of do right now, but like I'm a little older. But I kind of right now like do with a couple people, but I'm not going to say their name because I'm not going to give any firepower to people. But yeah, a couple people right now. One for sure, just to see how he really moves in life. And there's a couple people back in the day for sure too.
Yeah, no, I feel you on that. Like I just think like we talk about Madden, but the whole behind the scenes stuff that happens that like all the drama, and God knows there's been a lot of drama that has taken place that maybe we'll get into some other day, but to me that's just kind of very interesting, and I wasn't gonna name names because like you said, as soon as you say something it's probably gonna start to have like a snowball effect and just go in a place that it doesn't really need to. So cooler heads cooler heads will prevail. That's kind of what it is. You might meet up with them at a tournament and you might actually like each other. Who knows? But it is what it is. So Shane, who do the Seahawks play on Sunday? Because I have no idea, to be honest. So.
They play the Cleveland Browns in Seattle. I think the Seahawks win if no turnovers by Geno happen. Cleveland's actually a pretty damn good team. I think they have the number one best defense, so I do like it that it is in Seattle instead of a 10 a.m. start.
Hell yeah. So we're coming off hot. You know what I mean? We beat the Buffalo Bills, and I was really hoping that the Chargers would find a way to beat, or not the Chart. The hell, Buccaneers. Yeah, Buccaneers. I was hoping that Baker Mayfield and the Bucks would figure out a way to beat the Bills, but they didn't. So we're probably still last. And if Jalen Hurts wasn't a freaking bum and threw a pick to Sauce Gardner when they were winning with however many minutes, then we wouldn't be last in the division right now. And the Dolphins, even though they kind of didn't really have a chance, but they were kind of losing early. So it's all going back, but our division record is actually surprisingly pretty good at this point. And I'll be honest, going into Miami at 10 o'clock on Sunday, not feeling too confident. I just think Tua, how he's looking, like, even with Josh Allen, I can watch him, and I feel like the Patriots defense were doing stuff to him in a way where it's like you could kind of tell he was off rhythm. I never felt that way with Tua. Like, I don't know if Shane can relate to this, but when you see like other quarterbacks and how they're just like moving up and down the field and it just looks so effortless, like you just feel completely hopeless at that point. So that's kind of what I want to feel. And we're riddled with injuries. First round draft pick cornerback is injured for the year, and our star linebacker is out at least until December. So it's not really looking too good on this, but hopefully we can figure out a way if we can go because we play Washington and Indianapolis the following 2 weeks. So if we can get to 5-5 going into the bye, we're still not completely out of the chase. So that's kind of what I'm hoping for. Um, so I guess with all that being said, what I'm saying, this was the Halloween podcast. We added a little bit of something different to the script on this one. For sure, there's going to be some other scenarios. I'm going to have something else that I'm going to pull out of my sleeve for the next week. So be on the lookout for that. Might be another scenario, might be something else, maybe some trivia here and there. So be on the lookout for that. So I appreciate you guys checking out the podcast. Shout out to Rose, who's always in here. I don't know if she's still in here or whatever, but shout out to you for always tuning in. And I know Shane is going to probably have a stream going on. I don't know when, but always be on the lookout for when he decides to stream. I'm going to start posting up videos as well. Trey is Raw is the name on YouTube. Look me up and see what I got going on. So I guess for me, that's pretty much all I got to say. I'm going to throw it back over to Shane to see if there's anything else he wants to talk about before we get out. And happy Halloween to everybody.
Appreciate it, Trey. Yes, Rose, PJ Walker isn't that good of a QB for Cleveland, but Cleveland still makes me a little bit worried on the defensive side against the Seattle's offense. But we'll see how that works. I did stream a couple days ago. Had some people in there. It was chill. I actually think it was Thursday I streamed. I'll probably stream next week a couple times. So hopefully you guys come check it out. I know it's not a set schedule, so turn your notifications on. Also, make sure you guys have entered into the money giveaway, which is going to be broadcast November 10th about the three $50 winners. So go post your payment that you'd like if you win on the YouTube video that I posted. Also, yeah, that's it. I mean, if you guys go celebrate Halloween, be safe. If you drink, get an Uber or a taxi or whoever you can get, a friend. Don't drive drunk. Be safe, you guys, and we will see you 2 weeks from now in November. So, West Coast Podcast, Shane and Trey, we are out for 2023's Halloween Bash Podcast Special.